Hello viewers, welcome back to another video in the car cave. Now, for the most part, I would say that any car is a depreciating asset, and I would say that most people probably agree with that statement, but there are a few chosen cars that tend to appreciate in value, and they do that for a number of different reasons. Now, being a car enthusiast, obviously I love supercars, so I was wondering what cars are going to appreciate. Now, that's the question that everybody is always asking, right? What should I buy? What should I invest in? How can I make a little bit of extra money doing something that I'm passionate about? So this video is about my top 5 cars, top 5 supercars that I think are going to appreciate over time and therefore would be good investments. Now, the cars on this list are not in any particular order. It's not like the last car is the best investment versus the first car. They're just in whatever order they happen to be. So I have all of the facts here, so I'm going to move over to the side so I can put all of the specs here that you can go ahead and take a look at. So the first car on my list is the 2023 Ferrari F8 Tributo. Now, the Tributo has a turbocharged 3.9 liter V8. It is mid-engine, and that's very important for a reason I'll explain right now. But it has 710 brake horsepower, 568 pound-feet of torque, does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, and it had a starting MSRP of $283,950. Now, it being a mid-engine V8 is kind of why it's important, because Ferrari is saying that they're not really going to make mid-engine V8s anymore. So things from cars as far back as the 360 Modena, the F430, the 458 Italia, 488 GTB, that whole lineage of mid-engine V8s, as well as obviously all the ones before that, is ending with the F8 Tributo. So right now, the selling price for the F8 Tributo is between $350,000. I've seen them go up as much as $450,000. So it's not a very big difference from the original MSRP, but crucially, it's still higher than the MSRP. So if you did get one at cost, then you're pretty much, you're in the money right now. You're driving that car for free. Someone's paying you, in fact, to drive that car. But since Ferrari is not going to make V8s anymore, it kind of makes the F8 Tributo a pretty important car historically. Now, the car replacing the F8 Tributo is the 296 GTB, which I'm sure is going to be an amazing car, but it is a V6. Now, right now, there's not a lot of attention on the F8 Tributo, so it might be the perfect time to jump on one, because in the future, when people do realize that, hey, there's no more V8s, that one's probably going to go up in value. Next car on the list is the 2020 Audi R8 Decennium package. Now, the R8 has a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10. It produces 602 brake horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque, and does 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Now, the original MSRP of the Decennium package was $216,245. And the reason this car is important is twofold. Number one, the Audi R8 is discontinued. I believe 2023 is going to be the last year. And from what I can see, Audi is moving towards electrification. They're not going to have a large, naturally aspirated V10 supercar anymore. And the R8 was, make no mistake, very important for Audi's development as a brand. So it's kind of a historical car. And the Decennium package is a limited production numbered vehicle. They're only making 222 of them for the entire world. I believe only 50 of them are coming to the United States. So it's a very low production car. It is naturally aspirated, which is a bit of a dinosaur, to be honest, because most cars nowadays are either turbocharged, hybrid, or fully electric. Some cars, a combination of those three. Some of them are turbocharged and hybrid. So to get a naturally aspirated V10 is becoming more and more difficult, and eventually will become impossible. So to get a low production numbered naturally aspirated V10 from Audi, and it's the last body style, the last generation of the R8, I think could potentially hold some value. Now, I couldn't find any for sale on the market right now, so I couldn't give you a current selling price, but that probably is more evidence to why it's a good investment. Nobody's selling them. People that bought them are holding on to them. Next on the list, 2023 Porsche 911 Sport Classic. The Sport Classic has a 3.7 liter turbocharged flat six, does 543 brake horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque, and does 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Now, the starting MSRP on the 911 Sport Classic is $272,300. There's not really any of them on the used market. I don't even know if they've technically landed, but I do think it's a good car to buy for two reasons. Number one, it's a limited production Porsche, which for the most part, any limited production Porsche is a safe place to put your money. They're making 1,250 units worldwide. And this is basically it's a 911 turbo with a manual transmission and rear wheel drive. Now, for those of you that don't know, the 911 turbo comes exclusively as a double clutch automatic transmission, which is Porsche's famous PDK. And it also comes exclusively as rear wheel drive. So this is more of a raw driver-centric version of the 911 turbo. But the way that I'm looking at it is it's kind of like a 911R for the 911 turbo. And the 911R, for reference, had an original MSRP of around $180,000, and they're selling for over $400,000 right now. So I think this is a car that if you could get as close as possible to MSRP, it would be a good one to hold on to. Number 4 on the list is the 2019 Lamborghini Huracan Performante. Now, the Performante has a 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10, produces 630 brake horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque, and does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Now, the original MSRP on the Performante was $281,048, and right now they're selling for around $350,000, give or take, based on the mileage. Now, obviously, that selling price right now probably has a lot to do with paying the COVID tax, but it's kind of the same story with the R8. Lamborghini is not going to make naturally aspirated, unassisted V10s anymore. They're going to be turbocharged, they're going to be hybrid power, maybe fully electric. Who knows, but it's very unlikely that they will be naturally aspirated. Now, I couldn't find the exact numbers, so I didn't want to put out wrong information, but to the best of my knowledge, the Performante was a limited run Huracan, and in my opinion, it was kind of the pinnacle of the Huracan name. So when the Performante came out, it had kind of a lot of craze, and since then, you've had the Evo, you had the STO, you have now, I think, the Technica, you have all these different trims, but for me, I think the Performante was the most innovative, and for that reason, I think it's the one that's going to hold its value the best. So right now, they're selling for over MSRP. I know that before COVID, they were selling for, you could get them for around $250,000 for a coupe. So they did dip a little bit, but I still think that with the direction Lamborghini is going, with being hybrid, electric, or whatever it's going to do, it not being naturally aspirated is going to drive up the price of those naturally aspirated V10s. Now, the last car on my list is one that I didn't even think about, to be honest. It just came up in a conversation with a buddy of mine. So number 5 on my list is the Acura NSX Type S. Now, that's the current generation of the NSX, which is the last iteration of the NSX. So Acura is discontinuing the car as it is today. It has a 3.5-liter turbocharged hybrid V6. It produces 600 horsepower, 443 pound-feet of torque, and does 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. Now, the original MSRP on the Type S is $169,500. That's the window sticker. I know that right now there are a couple that are still on the market as brand new cars, and there are a few used ones as well. Prices are varying between $275,000 and $350,000. Now, the NSX is a pretty important car in automotive history just to begin with. I know that some car reviewers have said that the first generation NSX was a supercar for sports car money. This generation NSX is a hypercar for supercar money. So that's kind of its value, right? You get hybrid hypercar technology for the price of a supercar. And its performance figures speak for themselves. 3.1 seconds is very fast. It's faster than most of the cars on this list, actually. The Type S is going to be a limited car. They're only making 350. So from a heritage standpoint, it being an NSX, I think will hold value. It being a Type S, I think will hold value. It being a limited production car will hold value. And to add to all of that, the NSX will probably not be gas-powered moving forward. They've already done turbos, they've already done hybrids, so unless they want to just kind of remake the same car, I would predict that the NSX is going to be fully electric. Lexus is remaking the LFA and they're going fully electric as well. It only makes sense that Acura would do the same. So right now there's not a lot of hype around the NSX. I feel like a lot of people kind of forgot about it. So if you could pick one up at a good price right now, particularly the Type S, I think it's a car worth holding on to. That is my list. I'd love to know what you think, if you agree or disagree. Maybe you have different cars on your list. Let us know in the comment section below. Like if you could, subscribe if you'd like, and if you do enjoy these videos, do please let me know. This is something I'm kind of trying out. It's a little bit different, so if you're enjoying them, I will continue to do more of them, but until then, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.